Hello, my name is Matt Otterbein. I'm with General RV Center. Today we're here to talk about setting your RV up. One thing you do want to check for, obviously, is a nice level campsite if possible. Make sure you look above for any tree branches or anything that could damage your RV when you're backing in. One thing I like to do is make sure I can back in far enough so I can get my tow vehicle in front. Also make sure you look for your power and water hookups. And then set the RV up so that you can fully extend slide out and still use your awning. Now that we have our site, let's go ahead and get it set up. So now that we have the RV backed on site, we want to level your RV. In doing so, we're going to use leveling blocks in a contractor's level. Leveling is very important. You want to make sure the unit is level for your doors and drawers to operate properly, your appliances to operate properly, your slide outs to seal, and so on. When leveling the coach, we're going to use the blocks underneath the tires. You want to always use your axles for your side to side. We're going to do that first because we're still hooked to the tow vehicle. Once we get the side to side set, then we can use the tongue jack for front to back. And as you can see, we are leaning to the left and towards the front of the coach. So we're going to use this level, find out how much, and adjust as needed. So we know that not every campsite is perfectly level. We've taken our contractor's level inside, determined how far out of level we are. I've put my Lynx leveling blocks in front of the tires, stacked them up to where I think I need to be to raise this side of the trailer to level. So now we're going to go ahead and drive forward, drive up on the Lynx leveling blocks, and see how level we are. So now that we've leveled the coach side to side, we're going to want to disconnect it from the tow vehicle. We want to make sure, very important, that you chalk your tires before you disconnect from the tow vehicle. As we mentioned before, we're already nose low in this site. We don't want it to roll off our leveling blocks, like so. Now that we have disconnected the tow vehicle, we're going to use a power tongue jack here to level the trailer front to back. Power tongue jack works great for that and also for when you're hooking up and unhooking your tow vehicle. No cranking involved, you just hit the button for extend or retract. Now we have the contractor's level still inside on the floor, so I'm going to raise this up. I'm going to go back and check that for level. Now we're level and we're ready to stabilize. Now that we have the RV level, let's stabilize it. We're going to grab our manual crank handle and some blocks of wood. There's two separate types of stabilizing jacks, and they are stabilizing jacks, not leveling jacks. You have a manual style jack, just like this, or an electric jack. Either way, what we're going to do is lower the jack until we put some pressure on the wood, and then we're going to add just a little bit more pressure for stabilization. Once we do all the jacks, we can go ahead and power up our unit so we can get it all opened up and ready for camping. Now we're ready to power up our RV. We want to make sure that the air conditioning is turned off before we plug in. Now this RV has a 50 amp service. We're at a state campground that has a 30 amp service. We've brought out a 30 amp extension cord. Very important that you use the proper extension cord. This is not the proper extension cord. We also have an adapter so we can plug our 30 into our 50 amp, which we're going to do through a surge protector. This here is a portable surge protector. They do make surge protectors that are also hardwired into your RV, which can be done at General RV. You can purchase all this at General RV. We're going to plug in. We will plug in our 50 amp. We're going to find our service pole, take our extension cord, plug into service, and then we can click our breaker on. Now we should have power in the RV. Now that we have our RV powered up, you can see that we opened the slide out, so we do have the awning open. We're going to go ahead and talk about the water system. In the state campground that we are in, we do not have a city water hookup at our campsite. On our way in, we would have filled our freshwater tank full so we could use our demand pump inside to pressurize the RV. If you're at a RV campground that has city water hookup as part of the hookups, obviously we can use a freshwater hose, a filter to filter that water to come in, and then very important that we use a water pressure regulator. Water pressure varies from campground to campground. You can either hook this up to the side of the RV like so, or right at the city water hookup, either or. Once you have your water pressure turned on, you can go through, bleed the water system, get all the air out of the system, and you should be ready to go. Now that we have the RV all opened up, let's go ahead and talk about the water system. On this RV, we have two water systems. We have our freshwater tank, which we filled because we are in a state campground. If we'd been at a full hookup site, we'd want to hook up a pressure regulator to the city water spigot at the site or on the RV itself. Then we can go ahead and hook up our water hose. And if you'd like, you can use a filter to filter the water into the system. Once you have the water hooked up or the pump turned on, go into the RV, bleed through all the air in the water lines, and you are ready to start camping. Now for the fun part of RVing. We're going to dump our waste tanks using a sewer hose, which we're going to hook to the dump valve on the RV, like so. We're going to locate the dump station, put the hose in the dump station. We have a black water tank and a gray water tank. Black water tank, we're going to dump first by pulling the valve to drain the gray water tank. Once the black water is rinsed out, we're going to pull it. By pulling the valve, it will rinse that hose out. Once you're all done, we'll go ahead and close those. If you're at a dump station, like we would have at a state campground, you can go in and try to flush the tanks out with some water. If there's obviously a line of people behind you, they're probably not going to want you spending a lot of time doing that. That's where being in an RV resort comes in nice, because this is where we can flush your tanks out real good. We're going to take this adapter. At the RV resort, there'll be a piece of PVC in the ground that this will thread into. Once that's threaded in, we're going to hook up the sewer hose. And it is very important at this time that you leave these valves closed. If you leave these valves open, the water drains out, which we do not want. We want the chemical in there doing its job. Once the monitor panel inside reads full, we're going to come through. We're going to do the same. We're going to pull the black water valve first, pull the gray water valve after it drains, rinse the tube out. Once you're done, you're going to go ahead and close those. If you have a sewer tank flush, like this RV does, we can hook our sewer or water hose to this, turn it on, and it will flush that black tank out, making sure the valve's open. Once you're done flushing, you close that valve. After you've drained the tanks, it's always important that you add chemical again. Once the chemical's drained out, you need to re-add it, recharge the water, the holding tank, add some water to it, add the chemical. Make sure you're using RV toilet paper and lots of water in the toilet tank. You have to use lots of water. The more water, the cleaner the tank runs. Okay, now we have the RV all set up. A couple things I want to go over with you before we start camping. One is to make sure you put your awning away and turn your city water supply off whenever you're going to leave the RV for any extended periods of time. Also, it's not a bad idea to drain your freshwater tank when you're going to be in transit with the RV, as it just adds a lot of weight. My name is Matt Otterbein. I'm with General RV Center, the nation's largest family-owned dealer. Thank you for watching. Now it's my turn to have some fun.